All right. Welcome to Scott Teaches Games. This is Thursday night. I completely skipped some things.
You know, when you start explaining the game, I just stopped paying attention.
My name is Nick. This is Sera. We have a special guest today. Colin. And this is...
Scott. I teach games.
On Thursday. What game do we have today, Scott?
Right now, we're going to go with the Red Dragon Inn. Keep in mind that not all versions of this game have this absolutely massive box. This one was specifically to hold all of the potential expansions for this game. It's alright, put that over here. For the most part, as you can see, it's mostly empty space.
Put it under there and then they'll see it.
We got, alright, almost entirely empty space here. There are lots of potential characters that you can play with. These are all the ones that were available at
But
the
we don't
time.
have these.
We do not. I
Okay.
have 5 of them.
5. All right.
But as you can see, many more than 5
Exist.
exist.
So obviously you guys are going to have to come back at a later video to see the rest of the explanation. Scott's only going to explain 5 or just 4?
Really, it's the game, and then there are 3 of them that I have special rules for.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know which character you'd like Scott to get next. Hit that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
All right.
So Scott, real quick, what does the game actually come with?
It depends on which version you get. At the moment, there are 7. There are 7.
7 different versions?
7 different game versions of this. It's all the same game. It's designed to be able to be played interchangeably.
That's wild.
There are different drink decks, which is one of the, oops, wrong slot. Drink deck is back here. There are different versions of this drink deck, but they are mostly interchangeable. Some slight variants, but for the most part, it's the same mechanic. The main games are numbered. This one happened to be 5. There are, like I said, 7 of them.
Are these the ones on the side of this box?
Those are the separate thing, which I was going to get to.
Oh,
The main ones have four character decks in each of the 7 main ones. There are also what is shown on the side, though not all of them, what they call the allies, which are usually 1 or potentially 2 different character decks that were designed to go together. Again, all of them can be added to any version of the game. It doesn't matter which one you have.
Makes it versatile, which is
Yes.
nice.
And the thing that I really enjoy about this game is that it has the ability to play with 2 players, and then it has variants for 7 or more.
Wow.
So realistically, you can just, as many decks as you have, you can play with as many people as you want.
That's awesome.
This is definitely a game that is designed more to be fun than to be critical. Could very easily be turned into a drinking game, I'm just saying.
It's called the drink deck after all.
Well, yeah, the concept for the game is you are a bunch of fantasy characters that have gone to the Red Dragon Inn, and you're essentially having a stamina contest, I guess.
Is it upside down?
Trying to see who can last the longest. And before I get too much into the lore, let's go over to the initial explanation, because that will help in the lore explanation.
So Scott, earlier you were saying
Yes.
all of these characters on here are playable in this game.
Almost all of them, yes.
And those are these cards, right?
Yes.
So
Like, you'll be able to see, like, this one is right there. Got written somewhere around here. There she is. Yeah, they're all in there somewhere for
And now
all these characters.
each game comes with a certain number of these characters.
Right.
Yeah.
The main boxes come with 4 of each. The ones that this box came with are. Let's see, we've got. Sorry. As you can tell, we don't normally plan ahead for what we're playing. We
That's
pretty
okay.
much just make the decisions as they happen.
We'll fix it in post.
This is the one that doesn't come with it, but I do have. Let's see.
This guy looks like from the Venture Brothers.
And
What's Venture Brothers?
there we go.
I've
Yes.
explained it to you before.
Yes,
good.
they'll look. The ones that come in this particular version, let's pull this off of the box so it's not quite as visible. Yes, there we go. So, these are 4 that come in this game. There we go. Yeah, it's big and bulky.
It is big and
Which
bulky.
is one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this one, so I have some more room in my bag to carry other games. These are the 4 that come with this game. This one was one of the Allies decks I was talking about, where it's sold separately. But I do have this one. But let's focus on these 4 at the moment. For this 5th version is when they started actually having these particular cards, because before that they had some variation of this, which is not terribly interesting, but this looks
I see.
decidedly better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the ones that have some, sorry, can't even speak right now. The 2 that have special mechanics for this version are these 2 right here.
And how do you know that?
I've looked through the decks
So
to
you
see
wouldn't
what's
know
going.
looking off of this.
You would for some of them, like the main
Remember?
the main setup is always the same. We have the deck, the discard, and the drinking pile, which I'll get into the explanation of those as we continue.
Okay.
The ones that have special mechanics that are guaranteed are when you have extra things that are along the side,
Got it.
because that's going to be special rules and the like on there. Now, for starters, everybody is going to be in the same situation. You'll notice all these numbers that are around portraits. They're all the same. Now we have stamina, or fortitude, I believe it's called in this game, fortitude. It's all going to start off at 20, and then we have our alcohol content, which is
0.
clear and starting off at 0. Now, I'll skip the special mechanics for now and just go into the basic explanation. On any given turn, you're going to be drawing up to, or you're going to have your starter hand when we begin the game of 7 cards.
Okay.
Each of you will have a deck that corresponds
Oh, wow.
to the characters that we have here. So we've got Lizwick, has the Lizwick deck. Sera's got Sera. And sorry, different Sera.
Right.
Just putting that one out there.
Well,
Sorry. I did not plan that. Right? That was a happy accident. So you would start off with 7 cards, and we don't need to get all of them, but just to show you. And any cards that you don't particularly want on your turn, the first thing, turn order, discard and draw. That's another thing I like about the boards
Special
here.
effects?
They literally just tell you the
Oh.
order of your actions in case you happen to forget. So the first thing is the discard and draw. So let's just say I didn't particularly want these, so you would discard those, and then draw back up to 7 as your first
Turn.
part of that turn. Then you
Okay.
can play 1 action. You do not have to play an action if you don't want to, but if you do, you can only play the 1.
Per turn.
Unless the card states otherwise, which is something that is common in most card games.
Okay.
There's the basic rule. Unless the cards tell you otherwise, then you can break those rules. Now, there are descriptions on these cards. Did I get lucky? I did not. But where it will... Oh, okay, that's perfect. There we go. I did get lucky. I just discarded those. There are little descriptions at the top of the cards. Now, there is action, which is the thing that we were talking about initially. And action is just usually a fairly strong ability, but it is, again, you can only use the one. A sometimes card for our Yu-Gi-Oh players, you can think of this as a trap card. This will come into play when something is triggered, generally. In this case, when you were ordering a drink for the drink phase. That was the special event that triggered it, and then you can use it. An anytime card, you can think of it as your quick spell. You can use it anytime you want.
Even on another person's turn.
Even on another person's turn. In fact, a lot of the sometimes cards would also be used on another person's turn. But the anytime can be used in the middle of a phase even.
Yep.
And then there is a separate type of action, which is gambling. Now, there are... Let me see if there we go. This is the action to start a gambling card. Gambling is a separate mechanic that would take the place of your action, which is why it's stated as action in the card. When somebody starts a round of gambling, everybody will ante up 1 coin.
So do we have to play?
Yes, unless you have cards that say you don't.
Oh wow, okay.
And then the person who played the gambling card controls that round of gambling, so they are currently winning.
Okay.
And then play continues in normal turn order, and you can decide whether you want to play a gambling card. In this case, something like I raise.
Oh, okay.
In which case you would take control of the round, and any other effects that are labeled on the card would also come into play. In this case, we would all have to ante up an additional gold.
And how many golds do we start with?
That depends on the number of people who are playing.
Okay.
So for a 4-player game, I believe it's 10. I can double check that later. But skipping around here quite a bit, but the ways that you can lose are you run out of gold.
Mm-hmm.
If you run out of gold, then Wench throws you out of the inn. It's like, all right, you can't be here anymore. The other is for any time that your alcohol content and your fortitude meet or go past one another. Then you get knocked out. You pass out and they take you up to your room to sleep it off. When you pass out, whatever gold you have is split in half. Let's say this was used for the gambling one, but let's just say this was what I had and I passed out. Half of the gold goes to the inn. The other half gets split amongst the rest of the people, with any leftovers going to the inn.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, if you ran out of gold, we can't divvy up your gold because you don't have any.
So what's the point of gambling?
The point of gambling is just to try and deplete their gold.
So you can get
so
you can kick them out.
Kick them out, yes. The gambling is risky because you're not necessarily going to win that.
Yeah, you're not always in control.
But you have the potential to essentially attack multiple opponents at the same time. Actually, it would be all opponents at the same time,
right?
Because you could be having 7, 8 players.
And now every single one of these characters has all of the same cards?
No.
Okay.
They do not. There are some cards that all the characters have. let's see if I can get actually quite a few of these. Every one of the characters has at least one gambling I'm in, I raise, and then there's another gambling card called winning hand. Most of the cards are, you're just going to read what the description is and play them as is. I'm not going to go into every single card because that's going to be too involved. Oh, phone call.
Yeah.
Commercial break.
If you want to just wait that out or just continue.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really because
Just
if he
ignore
keeps,
the ringing.
Anyway,
if he keeps talking though, then it's going to be ringing in the back of it. So we actually have to take a break.
Okay, fine. 1,
2.
2, 3. Oh, it's over.
Okay.
yes. There you go. Okay.
And action.
Okay.
We're back.
Anyway, that's the basics for the action phase. Then order a drink. Everybody is going to start off with one drink from the drink deck. Then you order a drink. So you take one from the top of the deck and give it to somebody else.
Oh.
So in this case, I'll say.
Does that mean
Looks
I'm
like
drunk now?
looks like you need another drink. No. Just you have drinks in front of you.
Does this mean he has to move them?
It will when you get to the drink part of the phase. So the last part is you take a drink. So in this case, ouch. That one.
It's 4.
That one would increase my alcohol content by 4. So I would go up to 4. There are other
Hey, stop
cards in here. Let's get something like this, where this is a card with a chaser.
Oh, that's evil.
So if you happen to have them ordered like so, and you go to take a drink, now you have a chaser. The next card on your deck also gets flipped over and added to it. So now I would have 5.
And now what happens if you had this one but you didn't have a drink?
If we had it like that, I just have the 1.
Oh, okay.
There are cards that have you pulling from the top of the drink deck and drinking it, and if that happens, then you just go to the next card that's on the drink deck. And one point to make is the drink deck is never empty.
Okay.
If it ever gets to the bottom and you need to pull, you shuffle up the discards and then pull. So it's always, there are always drinks at the bar. It's amazing. Let's see, there are drink events. I can find one. There we go, something like this. Drinking contest. Each player reveals a drink from the drink deck, again, this one, and the drink with the highest alcohol content wins. Extra rules in there, but everybody pays them 1 gold. Those can be in here, and then you flip it over, and oh, now suddenly everybody's involved. If the
And then everybody's little tiles have to move.
depends. You might have cards that negate or interact with the alcohol content and your hand. Again, it'll take some time initially, but you'll figure it out. But if you happen to have a chaser into an event, that counts as 0.
Oh.
So that would just be 1, and you wouldn't go into the event. You're only going into the event if it was your initial draw. There are some that have special symbols. If I can find one. Like for this one, you would lose a fortitude instead of that, and there's some that actually are beneficial. Like this one, where you would gain 2 alcohol, but you would also gain 2 life.
But if you have
room.
Yeah.
There is a maximum and a minimum for these. You cannot go below 0, you can't go above 20.
Got it.
That is pretty much everything you're going to need to know for the basics of the game.
Do we need to shuffle these?
Yeah, you can.
So these are our characters?
If we want to go with those,
let's do it.
absolutely.
Do you need anything out of here?
Yes. I still
I'm
need
gonna set it up here.
the special rules for Lizwick, or special cards.
Oh, I have special cards.
Yes. you have one of the special.
Am I actually
Does
Sera?
that put me at an advantage?
Go for it.
Okay.
Does that give me an advantage or no?
It's just a different
Style.
different setup. So the way that Lizwick works is she has special items. You'll notice in some of the cards, you can just scan through them real quick. Oh, perfect. That some of them have a little bag icon. When that happens, you're going to take an item and place it in your leftmost slot. Some of them have immediate effects, like that, and some of them, find something, sometimes they count as that sometimes card. So immediate would be played immediately, has the effect, and goes through it. Anytime you have sometimes, it gets stored here and can be used
When I what?
as like a sometimes effect. In this case, reduce the alcohol content of a drink by
And that's
2.
an action?
No, that is sometimes. An action is something you can only do on your turn. There's action sometimes and anytime.
Okay, yeah.
Now, as you get more of them, you'll notice that your hand size is decreasing. That's just meaning that when you go to are in the discard and draw phase, you're going to count as if you had a hand size of 6 when you're redrawing.
Okay.
You can't, when you use them, they'll get discarded anytime that you've run through your whole deck. This gets shuffled up and replaced back in there.
Okay.
Okay. So, got that.
How do we know who goes first?
Bring up the app.
Same way we usually do.
Okay.
So we need 10?
I believe so, yes. Just double check on that.
10 gold shillings.
Yes, it is 10.
They give you a really supportive bag for these cardboard coins.
Yeah,
They do, yeah.
but if this takes off and we like it, I was planning on getting some heftier coins just to be
Like poker chip
more
kind?
interesting. More like a pirate doubloons style. More so
I
than
don't know what that
clinky.
would look like.
The shillings.
It's on Pirates of the
More
Caribbean.
clanky. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where does this goes here?
Yep, it's there. So,
Okay. Let's try to keep the
Everything
everything
upright.
this way
Done.
because
Okay.
so the camera can pick it up easily.
Alright,
Yeah, otherwise it's upside down for us, the viewers.
alright, well,
Can everyone double check if they have 10, please?
It's all right.
just need some room.
Good counting.
Thank you, sir.
Got 10.
Just might need a little extra room for
Oh,
all the
even
stuff
up.
that's going on, like for coins that we ante and stuff like that, as well as.
So you go and place your deck right
Can
here.
you see? Oh, yeah, you can see all the way to here.
That's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
so we got this here,
Where do I put my coins?
just with your character somewhere.
On your head? That's a lot to balance.
Where they go?
I will also need a special marker for my character. I'm trying to find. Yep.
Alright, bathroom break.
Okay.
Oh, my wallet. Oh.
Falling to pieces here, Holland.
Okay, so for my character, they have it's called Drunken Chi, which is this thing. So there are some that will affect it by gaining me Drunken Chi, and others that will consume it. Anytime that I take a drink and drink it, which reminds me, we need to all start off with
A drink?
one.
Oh.
Is whenever I end up taking a drink, I can choose to increase it by 1. So if I happen to take a 1 drink, I'll always stay at least where my alcohol content is with this, and then can advance this along by 1 if I want to.
Why?
Because some of my cards will consume the Drunken Chi, and I can't go below what my actual alcohol content is. So I effectively only have 1, even though it's on 2. The reason that why it's showing on 2 is because this counts as my actual alcohol content for purposes of the game. So if I ever ended up in this situation, I would get knocked out.
So it's not actually helping you.
It does, because I can consume this or for some more powerful effects than what would normally be done.
Huh.
Like there is one where I could attack somebody's fortitude, and by consuming the 3 chi or whatever it is that's described there, it makes it unblockable, so you can't interact with it. So you're just taking the fortitude loss. While a lot of these other cards, like I'm attacking your fortitude. Well, I have a card that, like for instance, your character has a card that can redirect that fortitude loss. So it's like, nope, that's not me. That's hitting Sera, or that's hitting Holland. But
And I'm
this
drunk
case, it couldn't
again.
be done. So let's start this back up.
Okay.
0.